That's tough.
Were you saying the MLS jerseys are clean?
Yeah, have you seen them?
My favorite one I've seen is the Atlanta United, like the blue one.
I like the Portland, like with the kind of splotches on it. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of a fan of the New York one and
I'm
the
looking them up
Columbus
now.
one. I like the Volt New York one. It kind of looks cool. I like with the orange. They actually look good for finally. They might actually sell.
I've never hated their jerseys, honestly. Kayak still hit the X on this thing, by the way, so you left.
It's so when you do it, when you go live, it gives you like an X. It says leave meeting and it says got it. I always just X out of stuff.
Just hit got it.
Why the X should do the same thing? There's already a leave meeting button.
Chris,
Oh,
did you see that
also,
they were dropping a bunch of sponsors right now?
who?
Uh, United dropped their flight sponsor. Gazprom got dropped off the Schalke jerseys.
Oh,
Like a
yeah,
bunch of
Oh
Western
yeah.
yeah, I
companies are
saw it.
getting dunked right now, basically.
I saw something. I want to try to do it, but I'm not the host, so don't think I can. That we need to experiment with. We can add like boxes of where our heads are for this. I found it in Zoom by accident.
Boxes of where
So
our
like
heads are.
we can have an overall background for the show, but like boxes where our heads are placed in.
Hmm.
It's in that top right where it says view.
Hmm.
There was a way that I found to change it before, and I can't remember where it was
I just see speaker and gallery.
because you're not the
Oh, Alex is.
Alex is the host. He would
Why am
be
I
able
the
to do it
host?
because Kai
Where
left and you were in
where's
second.
it at?
Top
Top
right.
right of the screen.
View?
Yeah,
Is it under view?
should be. I
Do I
think
hit
that's where I found
gallery?
it. Well, that's what we're in. That's like what it shows for us.
I can't see it for some reason.
Wait,
I don't
I'm
know.
not. I don't. I mean, I think I'm still the host. Honestly, I still
Yeah,
have all my stuff. Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
still
have
the host.
anything. I share like I have just the normal stuff.
But mine just says view, speaker, and gallery.
I don't remember. All I know is there was like presets that we could have.
You guys are
It
going
was
in
really
breakout
cool.
rooms. Poll.
Oh, these are such fraudulent top 25s for college basketball right now. It's just driving me nuts.
Is it just because Kentucky's not higher?
Oh, it's because we stomped Kansas and they're above us, and it's driving me nuts. And Purdue is not that good. I'm tired of Purdue getting like gaslit after they like curb stomp a top 15 team and then lose to a like unranked team every week. It's so annoying.
But hey, Murray State is ranked. I don't know where, but I know they are.
I
Also,
just want
shout
Kentucky.
out.
If Kentucky holds their spot, they'll be playing in Indianapolis, and that's all I want. I'm buying tickets. Literally, first
First day you can.
Selection Sunday, I'll be sitting on Ticketmaster waiting.
It's our 17th episode. It is our 17th episode.
We're already live, so
It wasn't for the
Dude,
YouTube title. It was for the group message.
Providence versus Villanova was such a good game. Did not disappoint in any way.
Who won?
Providence.
I saw Villanova was ranked in like top. Were they still top 10 with like 7
No,
losses or
they're
something?
11th
Or
now. They're
yeah,
11th.
they have like a lot of losses, but a lot of them are close, and they play really good
close
teams.
and all against good teams.
Yeah.
Clutch versus
Providence.
Lakers.
Providence is low-key nice.
Did Austin say he was getting on?
He's probably working today.
Oh, you had
I
him
thought
on for the
Rishi
hot
was getting
takes.
on.
I just kept the template the same way.
Oh no, Villanova beat Providence by 5. Interesting. Providence almost took an L to Butler. That's tragic.
All right.
You see IPY women's basketball's ranked number 1 in the Horizon League now?
They are. They should have been for a while, but forfeits.
Bro, did you see what the Jag Pound posted today on Instagram?
On what?
They were
Like
Go
who
look at
posted
what
what?
the Jag Pound posted on Instagram today. It's some toxic. Like it's great. It's top tier, honestly. It's like just watch it.
Jag pound.
Yeah.
Oh, where he pops it.
Yeah. I was like, wow, we're really gonna start trolling as we're the worst team in every sport. Like, come on, guys.
No, that's not true. We are good at women's basketball.
Yeah, it was very good. All right, it's 1 p.m. though. We're live. Episode 17 across the board. We all got busy last week, so we couldn't come on last week, but we have a pretty good show planned. We're gonna talk about some NFL rumors, lots of trade rumors. Some college basketball. Of course, we got to talk about Dwight Howard. March Madness heating up. I just saw. I didn't realize the first round is literally in what is it?
2 weeks.
Like 3 weeks. Yeah, it starts on the 17th, March 17th.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about some NBA. A lot of crazy stuff going on. There's just a lot going on with NBA, and a lot of it has nothing to do with stuff going on the court. So I think that's pretty interesting. MLB, our typical 30 seconds of where the meeting's going. Lots of stuff for soccer, lots of Champions League action that we got to cover for the past 2 weeks. So without further ado, let's start with NFL. Let's start with a lot of these off-season rumors. Alex, you're talking before the show. There's a lot of rumors popping up. What are some of the most interesting ones?
Personally, I'm a fan of where does Russell Wilson fit into this trade scheme? Like, to me, I just don't see a place that, like, his inherited contract is 2 years for $51 million. And if you haven't looked at the NFL cap space for a lot of teams are currently sitting in the negatives. So I don't know who goes out of their way to trade for him at this point.
Is there any way you can restructure a deal?
I mean, you could restructure, but it's a lot. That's a lot of money to restructure. Because I mean, what you restructure him for 4 years with the contract he's currently on, that's $27.5 million a year. That's expensive for Russell Wilson at this point. I mean, are you really risking trading for him getting hurt, and then you inheriting that cap space?
I would say we
and
got
just
to
eating it.
We got to remember this isn't the Russell Wilson we all love and remember. I mean, he's obviously regressed a bit with age, but
2014 or whatever.
Yeah, he's still a good quarterback though. I'm looking at tons of looking at cap space room. I think, make sure I'm reading this right. No, never mind. This is not right. It's not showing me it in order. No, wait, maybe Dolphins. Does that sound right? Dolphins have 60
Dolphins
million
have
cap
the
space?
most cap space right now.
Okay, never mind. It is showing
Dolphins and Bengals are really high up.
Dolphins have 60 mil.
Chargers are
Jags have
closing in
56.
too.
Chargers have 56. Bengals have 49. And then Jets have 48. Those are your top five. Then it's actually a 10 mil drop off with Broncos at 38. So you'd have to guess that Russ is going to go to. I mean, well, he's not going to the Jags. He's not going to the Chargers. He's not going to the Jets. He's not going to the Bengals. So is he going to go to the Dolphins or not? I think is where we're at.
I don't know. I don't think he fits the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins are still so committed to the fact that they could just trade and get Deshaun Watson.
You think that's still an option at this point?
Dolphins? I don't think the Dolphins want him. Brian Flores wanted him.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
I
They're
would say Brian
his-
Flores might try to take that same kind of like want and get the Steelers to go in on him.
I just don't see. I mean, the Steelers could trade for him realistically, but then what they want, what it says.
I don't know what their cap situation is, but
The
They've
want is
got-
from Seattle is
We've got 28.
a first round, and a
You can-
second round. So a
Could
2022
get him.
first round, 2023 first round, and a 2022 second round for Russell Wilson. I
I'm
mean,
not trading that many picks for Russell Wilson.
Nah.
He's what, 31?
Well,
somewhere in that ballpark.
it's not. It's just because how important the position is. I think he might get two
He's
draft
getting
picks.
he's getting hurt more. He's already 31, which I understand quarterbacks playing later, but someone who's that small and runs himself into so much trouble, I don't want to be giving up that much of my future for.
Do you think
especially
Stafford's
with
worth
his-
more? Is Stafford worth more than Russell Wilson?
Well, Stafford's smarter than Russell Wilson. I mean, Stafford doesn't put
Is
himself
he?
in a lot of like high probability.
Stafford just won a
situations of-
Super Bowl.
He
Wilson
did win a
already
doing
Super Bowl.
something
has, but that
stupid.
was the most stacked defense we've seen for a while.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
feel like they're pretty even on the quarterback talent right now. Obviously not this past year, but I mean, Stafford makes a lot of mistakes for that too. How many picks? They got 2 first rounders,
I'm not
a
saying the
player.
turnover department, because the most beautiful ball in the NFL is the Russell Wilson like deep shot moon ball where it just high arcs into his receiver's arms. It's beautiful.
Yeah, but
But
I think the thing about if he gets traded to the Steelers is how many targets does he have to build around? Like, why would you leave DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett to go just get Deontay Johnson and Chase
Juju, if
Claypool?
he's there.
Juju, Claypool, you have a solid back.
He's gonna want to go where he knows he's gonna be able to air it out. So he would like it in Pittsburgh. I don't like the fit for Pittsburgh, not so much Russell Wilson. Like I would rather see a Deshaun Watson in Pittsburgh, because obviously they don't care what their quarterbacks do off the field. We've already seen that before. And he's young enough, and that defense is really young with Minka and TJ Watt, that you can have like those three cornerstones on your team and figure the rest out. And we've already seen that he can throw to nobodies and still lead the best offense in the league. So,
but my question is, why would you risk going in on him when you could roll the dice and get you could draft a quarterback still? I mean,
not with
'cause
this
this year-
class.
this-
It's not. There's no guy out there.
I think there's a little misconception in this class. There's good quarterbacks that just need time to develop.
Exactly.
They're-
And
you're not
they're
giving
good.
them
They're
we're
all
development
talking,
time.
but we're talking about like a Steelers team that doesn't.
They
Like,
made the
have
playoffs.
the defense now. They have the
they're not
defense
gonna-
now. They have the squad now. They just need the
But do you
quarterback.
think realistically, like in the time frame of let's look at the AFC North, you have three teams that are really good right now. If the Steelers hold pace, you'll have a fully healthy Baltimore, okay Cleveland, they kind of always just
Scrappy.
fight and chip. The Bengals. So why wouldn't
Young.
if I'm looking at Pittsburgh, why wouldn't I just rebuild right now? Like just roll the dice,
You don't have
rebuild.
to.
They
You
made
got a
the
good
playoffs.
team. You made the playoffs. You have a good team, and you have the best
Yeah,
coach
you
in
made
that
the
division.
playoffs because Lamar was hurt for the second half of the season.
You made the playoffs with Big Ben.
They made the playoffs because the Colts going to beat the Jaguars. Let's not forget that. But
That's also true. But I mean, like TJ Watt was hurt. Like, how long was he hurt for? Half the season?
He played
only
in
hurt
13 games, but he missed like 3 or 4 halves of those games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
So he was maybe half the season at
like
most.
he played half the season. Your quarterback obviously was not the same.
holding you back.
You had a rookie running back who, as we saw throughout the season, was getting better and better. I don't think it's a time to rebuild at all. I think you can never root against the Steelers. I think if Tomlin could take that team and make the playoffs, even though technically they shouldn't have made the playoffs, we've seen that he can pretty much take any roster and make that competitive. If you add in a nice vet quarterback in there, I think it's interesting.
Isn't the stat that he's never gone under 500 in his career?
I think so. Is that true?
That it's
Yeah,
the
he's
thing that
never
gets
gone under
floated
500.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the thing that gets floated out every time they're like close to 500. They're like, oh, this could be the year. But I mean,
He knows how to be competitive.
I feel like if you gave this, I'm not saying he's going here, but if you gave him Jimmy G, like a dude who can actually hit a couple passes, like you don't need him to be all that much because you just did it with a worse version of Jimmy G and Big Ben. And I would argue Jimmy G is not going to throw as many dumb passes as Big Ben does because he
That's
still
what I will
thinks he's got it.
I will
I think
say
that would even be a good fit for the Steelers. I know
Jimmy
we're kind of
G's-
focusing in on them, but
well, I'm saying Jimmy G in general is he's a really good. I talk a lot of stuff about game managers, but if you put him on a good team, like he won't win you a Super Bowl. We've seen it. He cannot win you a Super Bowl, but he will get
pretty
you
far in the playoffs.
Yeah, he'll get you pretty far in the playoffs, and he makes smart decisions. He's a really good game manager. Now, why I talk about Tannehill bad is because Tannehill's not getting paid game manager money. That's the
Yeah.
difference.
I don't know. To me, I feel like it's kind of the same thing with. I think they could go out and they could get Wentz realistically because, like, you look
He's
at
getting
Denver
cut.
last year.
Why do
He's
you
getting
want to
cut.
go? Why? Like, why?
You
Who
look at
wants
Wentz.
Wentz?
He was 27-7. He threw
Oh,
27 touchdowns,
Did
7
you watch
interceptions.
him play?
but
though?
he's
I don't care
not
about
gonna-
stats. The
But,
stats look way better than the way
steady.
he played.
He's steady. Like you can't tell me at any point you're like, wow, he's really just like a complete liability.
he's going
to
to have
the team.
2 plays a game though, where you're like, But
Yeah, but
you're
every
also gonna
quarterback
you're
does
also
that.
gonna have 2 plays a game where you're like, oh, like I've seen at the Colts games, like you were there too.
Yes.
He had multiple where he just throw it deep and like it gets knocked down, and you're like, that should have been picked. And then the next play, he like
He throws a
hurdles the
tight
defensive lineman,
spiral.
and you're just like, all right. So
I'm
honestly,
taking
I
Jimmy
think
G over Carson Wentz.
I don't
think
think
Jimmy
Yeah,
the
G
but
can
the
just
Colts are
Colts
fire.
should
gonna go
have
get
gotten rid
Jimmy
of
G.
Wentz, but
You don't think?
I don't
You
think
don't
they
think
should
they
have.
should?
I think
I-
they should.
I think they should.
I think
I don't
they
think he
should.
gets any. I don't think he gets any better. I don't think that.
Yeah. I mean,
I think even if they did make the playoffs, they would have probably lost in the
we would
first
have got
round.
stomped by Kansas City.
I
Stomped.
genuinely don't think that even if they did make it, got stomped in the first round, that Wentz would have stayed. I don't know. Is there any other quarterbacks we need to talk about? We talked about Russ. Deshaun, do we think Deshaun's going to be on the move?
I think
Yeah.
he is a perfect fit for the Steelers. I said that
I think he
before,
is.
and I think it's what they should do.
They've already got the PR team ready. They had to deal with it with Big Ben. You got his boy Flores as a linebacker coach. You've already got the squad there.
I would say is Flores kind of like prepping to take over for Tomlin. I know Tomlin's pretty young, but like kind of
I
be
think this
like
is
his,
a one-stop shop. I
his
think.
protege.
I'm gonna be honest. I think the way that it was, it wasn't a pity job by any means, but I definitely think that the Steelers.
Oh no! If that stuff doesn't go down with the Giants, the Giants, they don't get him. But Flores probably or Tomlin likes Flores. Like he thinks he's a good coach. He's like,
Well,
oh, we have an opening. Get in here.
The whole Steelers ownership group has really been. I think they were the first. They were the first NFL team to hire.
That's why
like
it's
a
called
black
the
head
Rooney
coach.
Rule.
Yeah. And so I think that. I mean, let's be real. Like Flores was starting to get blackballed for what he was. I mean, come on. Like he was like a front runner for some stuff. I don't want to get too much into it, but because of all the bad press that was coming with it, he wasn't getting hired.
Outside of that, like I think it was because of that Dolphins experience. He walked in and he was like, I'm running this how I want. Like you guys are going to go off me because I know I'm good. And that's like the approach he took with the Dolphins. I say that because of the Kenny Stills stuff. And well, all of his actions showed it too, with all the stuff with Kenny Stills and trading all those players for like, if you're not in, you're out. And then like finally gets something rolling there. And then he's like, okay, we're not winning this with Tua. I can see that. We need Deshaun. And then the ownership group is like, we drafted Tua. We want Tua. We don't want Deshaun. Like win with him.
Tua to start.
Exactly. So he was given a hand where he was just like, you guys aren't helping me at all. So he tried to strong arm him and it didn't work. And no owner with that much money in the entire world, let alone just the NFL, isn't going to be told what to do. And Flores knows he's smarter than probably the owners.
I think,
and I don't think they want to deal with that.
Here's how I saw it, right? Flores goes in and the Miami job, they needed a culture changer, right? They haven't done anything. They haven't been that great. They've had some meh years, but at the end of the day, they haven't had a back-to-back winning season for like 25 years before he was there. Okay. So you get Flores, you need a culture changer. Flores starts changing the culture, and maybe he was a bit controlling, but I mean, let's be honest. He called that he wanted Herbert instead of Tua. We obviously see how good Herbert is. It's not really fair to. I'm not dogging on Tua because for the whole hip thing, but we see where Herbert's at now. I mean, he was making good decisions. I think that as a culture change, if players aren't in, they should be out. That's how it should go. And I think that Dolphins didn't like that. I think it was a thing of egos between both Flores and the ownership group in the front office. And it was unfortunate that it ended that way. But I think next year he'll be a head coaching spot, but I think he just needed to have a chill assistant role this year with Pittsburgh, and he'll be back on the market next year. That's how I see it.
Clean up on the Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson is projected to be in court April 1st.
Yep.
And they believe that the belief from the ESPN legal analyst that is chipping in on the article is that the cases will be dropped with financial settlement.
Yep.
I mean, they've been trying to settle for months now, and the lawyer just hasn't been.
That's a whole different thing.
It's a whole other thing.
We need to go.
We don't want to go into it, but it's been a crazy case. But
you can look up anything you want on that, and they all draw the same conclusion for the most part.
Yeah.
About the lawyer against Deshaun.
Yeah, but
I-
moving
I
on.
have I have a question real quick. Since
for it.
I know we're gonna go into the draft, where, like, if you have to rate if you're ranking the 5 quarterbacks of who you would pick, 1st through 5, who are you guys picking?
I'm not a big NFL draft guy. I've done the NBA show for SMC. The NFL draft, I'm like, so I have no real input. Kenny Pickett with that fake slide has me like happy, but that's literally it.
So
I know the dude from Liberty is supposed to be like
Malik Willis.
a project build who's like got a ton of talent, but they just need to like shape it. I think Matt Corral is a terrible choice, and I think the UNC guy Howell is a terrible choice because they couldn't really win that much in college.
Okay. Oh, it is 4. My math was wrong. So it's
The 4 quarterbacks. Yeah, Pickett.
Willis.
Well, no, technically 5. It's Pickett, Willis,
Ritter's in there, but I mean,
Riddler,
do we really
Corral.
want?
Oh, Riddler.
I think-
I think he's a good backup. And that's
I think he'll
analysis of
get
it.
drafted to a good team, and he'll be a pretty good backup, and maybe I think he could start a couple games and win a couple.
Hey, if Mike Glennon can be in the league for as long as he has, and he's made like 30 million thanks to Kai's Bears off contracts, and he's played like 4 games, I think Riddler can make it.
Hey, Glennon was supposed. Listen. Why we draft a quarterback and then sign you
signed
Glennon,
him,
or we
and
signed Glennon and then we draft you? I don't know why we did that. I did so stupid. But and we did the same thing where we signed Dalton, and then we drafted Fields, and we knew Fields was gonna take over. It's a whole thing.
I don't think the Bears actually thought Fields was dropping to him. I think that's what that was, honestly.
Yeah, I think it just kind of landed in their lap, and they're like, "Oh, I'll take this."
You can't not take it. But back to your question, Alex. I don't know. I don't really like any of these quarterbacks, but I'd have to go with Pickett as the best choice for right now.
Off hair alone, I'm going Pickett.
You gotta go Pickett. I like Corral. I've heard that he just has some like technical issue, like I don't know, right? Technical, like just I can't think of the word right now,
You're
but
saying the right one.
doesn't set his
Technique
feet
issues?
all the
Mechanical?
time. Mechanical, that's the word. He doesn't set his feet all the time. He just has some mechanical issues, but he's a smart player. I think if he goes to a good team, he'll be decent. I like Riddler.
I don't think
That's just
there's
off the
any star
storyline.
studs like
No, there's
quarterbacks in
not.
this class.
There's not. But again, I mean, nobody can really. We never know. One of these guys Matt Corral could be leading the league in something the next 3 years. We never know. You never know, honestly.
I
Like
don't think so.
these guys are. I don't know, but probably Pickett, Corral. I haven't seen a lot of Willis play. I'm a big like strength of schedule guy, so the fact that he played at Liberty and dominated, I don't really care about. And then the one game where he played against Ole Miss, it wasn't his fault that they lost, but he didn't impress me. So maybe I go. I guess you go like Willis, Ritter. Again, I haven't seen a ton of these guys besides like some Kenny Pickett games, but I don't know. I know you're high on Pickett, Alex. So
Yeah, he just
I
looks
just don't
like
see
he
him
just
as-
looks the most pro ready. He just looks pro ready.
well,
That's
out
what
of all these guys,
That fake
yeah.
slide shouldn't be banned. I know why it is, but I wish it wasn't because that was cool.
Yeah.
I think it's computed to the point where it's like I read this from someone. I mean, he looks like the most Mac Jones. Like he just looks ready to play in the NFL. He's not stupid. He doesn't like make errant passes. I think he's ready to go into a team where they have a very set system on how they play, and he'll play consistently good.
But is he the guy that like you want that he's gonna be the potential franchise guy? Like, do you think he has that high of a ceiling?
I think he does. I think he has that high of a ceiling. He's not immobile.
You could
but
see
he's
him
not
as a
like
Jimmy G.
That's where I see him. Like I see him in that tier. I don't see him like jumping the like Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady tier. Like
Before
he's in
Jimmy
the
G tore his
consistent-
ACL. Yeah, Before Jimmy G tore his ACL, people were talking about him being like a pretty good, like just under elite. Like right when he got to San Francisco, like he was supposed to be like just under like Kirk Cousins tier, as we call it. Like a pretty good quarterback.
I would put him in the Kirk. I'd literally put him in the Kirk Cousins tier, and then the rest of them, to me, I mean,
they're wild cards. I think Willis is either going to be
Matt
great or he's going to bust.
Corral has a lot of upside, but I've heard it's a lot of, like Kai said, it's a lot of mechanical and it's a lot of attitude adjustment. I've heard his attitude's not fantastic.
Wasn't he?
Kinda-
I'm pretty sure he was the number 1 quarterback out of his class.
He's
And then
quite cocky.
Yeah.
He's quite cocky, and yeah, you don't go to Ole Miss and you're not cocky. But
I can't lie, I haven't looked at these NFL like mock drafts in a while. A lot has changed.
Well,
Yeah.
Evan Neal is projected to go number 1 now.
Yes, but I'm seeing Kyle Hamilton like as high as like 3 to the Texans.
He's been that high.
Yeah,
That's a safety from
Kyle
Notre Dame,
Hamilton's
right?
been up there.
He's been
his
top
big
5 all
boy-
year.
No, I'm saying he like it's a good pick, but I'm seeing him as high as there and as low as like 14.
He's
Yeah,
been in that
he's
top
like-
5 like range
It's
the
such
whole
a-
year.
It's been
pretty
a
much.
jump. Like I just the grading this year to me has just been so like up and down. Like there's like they grade these guys so high, and then the next week they hate them. Like right now on Pro Football Focus, they have them at 8 going to the Saints. They have like George Karlaftis, and they have some offensive linemen that I've never heard of going at 3 from NC State. Like it's just just picks are weird. I just feel like everyone's reeling, like not knowing who's the like superstar in this draft.
Do we feel like COVID messed that up? Because a lot of these guys missed that year.
I don't think
No.
COVID messed it up. I think the fact that the year before, like last year, we all look at that draft and are like, there's so many good picks. There's just so many like star-studded college
stacked.
players in it.
She was
Like-
stacked.
Trevor Lawrence at 1. I mean, we all knew he was like the undeniable one. And then we had Zack Wilson, who no one had heard of out of BYU, go at
Explode onto the scene.
Yeah.
explode on and then quickly explode off and then kind of come back on at the end of the season, which I do think he looked good at the end of the year. Like, no matter how much crap I gave him at the beginning of the year, he actually kind of looked consistent for
Dude
a
has a
couple.
cannon. Dude is a lot.
I-
He's elusive.
I've heard enough of your Zach Wilson is going to be a stud.
Hey, after I did that my friend Mason, we watched a ton of film on Zack Wilson. I used to be a Zack Wilson hater. I'm like, this dude's gonna be good. He was literally throwing it in his receiver's chest and they would drop it. Like, he does make dumb decisions. That he will be, instead of a check down, he will throw it 60 yards, and I respect it.
Yeah, I mean, he's what you call in the NFL. He's a shot taker. He's not gonna back down from going deep. But I think with time he gets better. But me personally, in this draft, I'm only looking at like this is a draft to me where you can just go light people up on defense. Like you just look at how many defensive
Hutchinson, Hamilton,
entities are in this.
Stingley,
I mean,
Thibodeau.
those guys that are gonna slide late, like Sauce Gardner, Ajabo, I mean McDuffie out of Washington, like these guys are just gonna be ball hawking. Like I just think one team, and they keep saying it, the Jets are just gonna unload on defense in the draft.
They should.
And just get a
That's because
defense
of who they
that's
have
just
on their coach.
stifling.
You've got some good receivers too. You have that whole like Ohio State
Yeah.
core, Chris Olave, Garrett
Olave.
Wilson, Jameson Williams from Bama.
Don't forget about Drake London from
Yeah,
USC.
Oh
he's
yeah,
good.
yeah.
I
they
mean-
have him going. Oh,
I
10.
see 8 here to the Falcons, which him and Pitts would be crazy.
him, Pitts,
Yeah,
if Ridley
and the
ever comes
possibility
Ridley's
back.
gone.
Is
Isn't
he gone?
I'm pretty
Of
sure
getting
he's
a second
gone.
round pick too. They
Mm.
think that they're going to get a second round pick for him. So I mean, Jahan Dotson's out there still. Like, I mean, there's a lot of like, to me, really good players that are sitting in this draft that just no one understands. Like, no one has done a deep enough dive because we're like, this draft sucks. Let's just not even think about it. Let's just look at next year in college football.
I don't think it's. I mean, I think it's also because like the
I
main
mean-
guys. Stingley didn't play this year, right? He was injured, and he was supposed to be a top pick. Thibodeau, he got injured halfway through the year. And Aiden Hutchinson maybe didn't come out of nowhere, but definitely wasn't supposed to be a top 5 pick at the beginning of the year. I just think that there's a lot of. I mean, we know how sports media loves their quarterbacks. Last year was a stacked quarterback class, and for the casual fan, it's easy to get into a draft when there's a lot of good quarterbacks. This year, it's a lot of guys in the trenches, a lot of defensive players. So obviously, as we get
Offensive
closer
line
to it,
too.
I think
offensive line, yeah.
I think the 2 things that nobody's really looking at here, the Eagles have 3 first-round picks all in the teams.
Yes, they do.
And the Giants have 2, is it top 10? 2 top 10
Mhm.
picks? Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
5 and 7. So
I just don't know what the Giants do with 5 and 7. Like
well, I think
I
I've
like
heard they're done with
I
Daniel
like George
Jones.
Karlaftis. I know Evan Neal's gonna go to them, but I honestly kind of like George Karlaftis in some way, shape, and form as a pass rusher because they have not had a pass rusher in forever.
I see here Trayvon Walker and Drake London to them. And I also see
I don't get
Akame
another receiver.
They need an
Ekwonu.
offensive lineman so bad.
I'm about to say
They need an
stack up
offensive lineman
on
so
in the
bad.
trenches. The Giants are already paying the most in salary for their receiving core. You cannot fathom getting another
And
receiver.
they've already said they're going to stick behind Daniel Jones. So I mean,
For one
I
more
would
year.
Then
just
protect them. Then
load,
protect them. That's what you got to do.
load an O line, and I mean,
Yeah.
even if it doesn't work out, then you have an offensive line to put a good quarterback behind at least.
That's all I know.
What do the Eagles do?
Best available. You're
yeah.
still aging defense. You got a couple young studs on offense. Whoever's top of your board, take them.
I think
Yeah.
defensively they have to kind of amp it up because like I feel like they just get killed on defense.
Yeah.
Like they just can't. They can't beat you on defense. They can.
They could
I
take
think
a
they
quarterback
are
too.
close enough to beating you on
Nah,
offense.
they're committed to Hurts. There's not a better quarterback out there that
Then Hurts. I agree, but they won by running the ball. So because of their O line being old, maybe they take some like offensive linemen to fill their holes? Maybe get rid of some like their vets for more picks and just be like youth overtake. Let's go. Like
I like Devin
made the
Lloyd out of
playoffs.
Utah for their defense. That would be a good pick. They need a linebacker. They do not have anyone in that like middle third of the field that's really like dominating. But
what about like Kobe Dean?
and the Kobe
From
Dean's a
Georgia.
good one out there. They have him really like they have him kind of like
He's
low
like
right now for
they have him ranked 16th. I'm looking at just their big board. I'm not looking at mock draft. They have him at
Devin Lloyd's
16th.
ahead of him right now on the big board. But
Yeah, he's 14th.
I like they probably really do need a corner. I know everyone's like Darius Slay is still that guy, but like he's really old.
You got to get another. I mean, there's so many good corners in this
did
draft.
you see his stats for the year? He locked up like nearly everyone.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying
Mike
like
Evans got 27 yards on him. Like that was the most yards he gave up all year.
I think you always go for more corners though. That's what my thing is you should have 3 solid corners that can almost guard
that's your
anybody.
goal is to have 3 solid. You're not gonna always have it. You normally have a stud and then you patchwork the rest.
But like with this draft, especially with the Eagles, you could maybe get
imagine if
more solid guys.
Stingley falls to him because like he hasn't played in 2 years.
He hasn't played. You have Gardner. You have that dude what's that dude out of Clemson's name? Booth.
Booth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Philadelphia is projected to draft him right now. I mean, yeah, there's a lot still in here that I'm like, I just don't know who you'd like. I feel like every team is going to be sitting there on draft day with either a plan or they're like, all right, whoever's up next, we're taking them. It doesn't matter. Whatever the team in front of us does, whoever falls, we're just gonna aggressively play the draft.
Simple question, and it can be NBA.
This is the last question, by the way, related to NFL. We're moving on.
You don't even need to don't even give an explanation necessarily. Do you take best available? Like this is in general. Like you don't worry about the team. Do you take best available talent, or do you try to fill a need?
That's too loaded. That's too loaded.
Don't bring circumstances into it.
Because it is circumstances.
No, because if you're just a basic, like you're a GM of a team, like don't worry about your talent because you can trade anybody. Like in any sport, I don't care what it is, you can trade anybody for something. Do you draft the best available talent every year? Or do you trade away the extra guy that comes because you think this new guy is going to be a stud? Or do you fill a hole and hope they develop into filling that hole?
I'm filling holes because you got to draft with your you got to draft with a conducive scheme, in my opinion. Like you can't just go out and get these guys and be like, all right, they're going to fit our organization so well, because so many times it just blows up in your face. You're like, you draft a guy, and I mean, I hate saying this, Kai, but you go and draft a guy like Mitch Trubisky, and you're like, wow, we wasted that pick in a complete, utter sense. But
it wasn't all his fault.
It wasn't all his fault. But
he'll probably ball out. He'll ball out somewhere else. That is true. That was an NFC championship game, or was that a wild card game?
That was wild card. They weren't that good.
I didn't know if it was like we were in the divisional going to the NFC Championship or if it was just a wild card game, but it was.
That was wild card.
There's just like so many picks that you see every year in the NBA, the NFL, even the MLB. You're like, what are these guys doing? Like they've just gone out and they've picked the best player available, and then you realize that your team isn't built to like center that player. Like this person wants to be the center of your team when really you want them to be in a like you're gonna play your role until you're really good kind of deal.
The
So,
Warriors
I
way
think
of drafting.
I think you pick what do I need? Who fits this? How well do they fit my team? And at the end of the day, you can get guys who maybe aren't as high rated in like ranking, in draft ranking, and they can still be great for your team.
Yep. Yeah, going off Alex, just filling needs.
I'm best available. Figure out the rest later. Get the best available dude. Let them ball out.
I feel like it's a team game. No matter what sport it is, it's a team game. The less holes you have, the less ways you can get beat. But we do have to move on. College basketball, big story. Dwight Howard suspended the rest of the regular season for Michigan Wolverines, which is just like 5 games. He should be back for Big Ten basketball. From what I heard, he was upset about the timeout called by the Wisconsin coach because the Wisconsin coach just wanted to put in his backups. I don't know if anybody else has any insight on that, but I guess Jawan took it as YG to call that timeout to end the game. I don't know.
Michigan's just having a bad year, and he's salty about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Big Ten, I feel like any team in the Big Ten right now, and I hate to destroy Big Ten fans' dreams and hopes and aspirations in the world. Like, this is just not a good league this year. Like, let's just be completely honest. Like, we look at it, there's like really 3 good teams. Like, it's Wisconsin, Purdue, and Illinois. The rest of the teams, like, look really good one week and then play really bad one week.
Yeah.
You can
Like,
throw Purdue into there and Illinois.
Yeah, but they actually have like good players that, you know, can carry you to wins. So other teams do not have that ability. IU, other than Trace Jackson, but like it's just Big Ten basketball. Like we're just gonna fight, bicker, scrap at each other. One team will win, and then we'll think one team's great, and then they'll get to March Madness and they'll get curb stomped by a team that
because they're all tired from beating
coming.
up on each other. It's just how it is.
They kill each other, and then they're like, "Oh, all right, time to go play in the tournament, and time for us to lose in the worst fashion possible." Like,
wasn't Michigan State ranked like top 5 to begin this year?
Oh my god, yeah,
Which,
Michigan.
I want to say that was off of a name alone. I'll be honest.
I think it was off the coach's name alone.
Because even
they give that.
I feel like Michigan State's been like mid-state the past couple of years, honestly.
Ever since that Middle Tennessee State loss.
Yeah, they've been like
since Valentine left. They've just been
Denzel Valentine in college was a problem, bro. I don't care anybody. He was a problem. Did him and Miles Bridges play together?
No, I think Bridges was right after. They might have had like a year, but I don't think it was like a lot of time.
Yeah. Mid-state.
What are you looking at that? Like
I'm Nebraska Cornhuskers. 1-15
like how are
conference.
You at the top of Big Ten? How are you at the top of Big Ten of being 13-4? Like I just don't understand. Like these teams are like the team in 9th is 8-9.
Yeah,
like,
so Valentine was drafted in 2016, and then Bridges was 2018.
Oh, okay, I got you.
So if they overlapped, it was for a year, but I'm pretty sure Denzel Valentine. Which let's play a game real quick.
What team is he on right now? Don't ask me.
What team is he on?
Don't know right now. I know he used to be on the Bulls.
He was on the Bulls.
He was on the Bulls. I don't know where he's at now.
Do you have a guess?
No.
I'm gonna go. He's in Orlando.
Where
With how bad they are, that would make sense. No, it's actually he's not 7 foot. B, he's not a wing who can't shoot because he can shoot. So you can't play in Orlando with that. He is actually on Utah.
Really?
Mm-hmm. He doesn't play.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense.
He is averaging 9 minutes a game, but it's like blowouts and stuff.
All right, I have the college basketball question of the year. Who, in your opinion, is like a dark horse for the tournament? Like, who is one team that just is gonna grind from
someone from the Big East? It could be Xavier. It could be Providence. they are playing in like such high stake environments already, it seems, because they all know their bubble teams because of the conference. I feel like they can really do something because at the top of like everything, you have what Gonzaga, Auburn,
Gonzaga,
who is
Arizona, Auburn,
failing, like
Purdue,
falling.
Kansas, Kentucky.
The must bus of like Arkansas is up there. But
Arkansas
like
is at 18th.
they are, but they're still like considered a good team. The Big
I was thinking
12
maybe
chokes
Houston.
games. The Big 10 can't do anything. I think it's someone from the Big East. Get
I think
them in
it's-
there as a 12 seed. Let them run wild.
I feel like it's gonna be Houston. I think they're gonna make another run again. That team, I don't know, man. I love that coach, and I feel like that team just goes out and they just play. I have no better way to describe it. When you watched them last year, because I love, what was that guy's name? He was just some super lengthy dude on the team, and he just came out and he just would rebound and he would score. I can't think of his name. He had dreads, but I
I'm
just can't
literally
remember.
looking at their team right now.
I think he was a junior.
Carlton? Carlton?
Nah.
He's their center. I don't know. I'm looking at their roster currently.
Anyway, I think my pick is Big East for you, Alex.
It was something with a J. Why am I blanking on this name?
I don't
He
see
might have
anyone with the last.
graduated.
Javier
But-
Francis?
Mm.
He's a freshman. That's
He might
not
have
right.
graduated. He might have graduated.
Jamal Sheed?
No. It was something like I would know. I can't say what I thought it sounded like on the air, but
Okay.
Who's your
No,
pick then, Alex? Who's your pick?
Well, since Kentucky lost them, I really like Tennessee. Like, God, they're just, and we lost them so bad because we made them mad because we blew them out by 30 and kept our starters until literally the last minute of the game. So we kind of did it to ourselves that when we went down to Knoxville, we were just gonna get curb stomped. But they're just so good. Like, and the one guy I'm gonna focus on, his name is Fulkerson. He is so good. Like, he took Oscar Tshiebwe completely out of the game by playing out on the perimeter, driving in and taking a hook shot every single time. Like, they have a point guard who I don't think stops running the whole game. He got a technical foul to start the game and played the rest of the game and was fine. Like, they're just grinders. They're just going to be grinders. And I feel like every team in the SEC this year, like Alabama, Arkansas, Tennessee.
Alabama should have lost to Vanderbilt. I don't know if anyone watched that game.
Yeah, I did.
They
watch
missed a
Graduated, by the way.
wide open layup.
There's just SEC grinders, and I feel like people are just going to be so mad when they have to come up against the SEC. They're like, these guys are just going to.
Dude,
Alabama will shoot you into oblivion from 3 the entire game. They're just going to drain on you in the first half.
Whatever they put in the water down there ever since a couple of years ago, because all these SEC teams are legit now. They are
Dude,
just.
I
they
hate
just-
it. Like, I hate
all
it.
of them
It was
are
like
good.
the Big Ten
it's
for
nuts. Yes, it's just like used to be like SEC was all football. No, their basketball teams are cold now. All of them.
They're getting nice.
Vanderbilt still sucks though. South Carolina, unless it's women's, still
Vanderbilt-
sucks.
Vanderbilt's a doctor's school. Like athletes don't go there. It's like Vanderbilt's known for like a really
Hey,
good.
Now,
like,
why? If you're going to
Okay,
Tennessee, you might as well just go
Garland.
to UT.
Okay, Darius Garland. That is true. But I mean, so like I'm not saying
Doctor on
that.
the
I'm
court.
not trying to talk stuff. You know, it's just like Vanderbilt's not the same environment as if going to like another big SEC school. Why would an athlete want to go there?
That's true.
That's why they suck. But they get a lot of
Shut
money to get
up.
beat up on.
Shout out Jay
Who do
Cutler.
Kai, who do you got?
I said Houston. I was honestly gonna
Oh,
say
yeah, you got
Kansas
Houston.
because nobody ever expects Kansas to win, but they're top
Kansas
5.
Kansas is not set up to win. I'm just gonna say it out loud. They're just not set up to win. They just are not like that.
They
I-
never won March Madness ever. Like they always
That's
are
my
out.
thing.
like,
they
Sweet
just
16.
Have such a they just have
Well, they-
such a long history of like disappointing to me that it's like why pick them? Like
They're not a one and done school anymore. We've seen the transformation. They've transformed they transformed from a one
They
and
have
done school. Now
some-
they take a lot of these like 3-4 year guys and transfers.
yeah,
Well,
they
that's
have
what they
for-
wanted to be the whole time. And then
Yeah.
they were like, all right, let's try to get a couple of these studs who are leave after a year. But
But like
that's not what they like. So they went back to what they used to do.
the problem is like they're so good, but then there's such like they possess such like a skill gap between their starters and their bench, and it's so obvious when they
That's
come on the
always been a
floor.
problem for them.
And it's just like you can't keep your starters in the entire game in March Madness. Like you're gonna need a guy who's gonna no one's ever heard of, never heard of his name. He's gonna come off the bench and just light it up for you.
You run
Like-
7 deep in March Madness.
Yeah, you
Bring
can
two
run
guys
seven
set-
deep.
8 most.
Like
Unless
8 at
that-
most, but
Unless there's a dude in pregame that ninth man who's just hitting half court shots, then you throw him in. But
Yeah, but like you just know that those big teams you're gonna play against have such a deep bench that they can just dig in, and even if they get hurt, because I think that's the thing I always think of is like who gets hurt in this game, who's gonna come in and play for them and step up and fill that role down the line if it's like a long-term injury, because we all see in March Madness one guy steps funky on his ankle and then he's done for 4 games.
which is the entire tournament.
I'm about to
from
say
March Madness.
it's a tournament.
I will say,
Ah,
we said dark horses. Who's the biggest flop? Who comes out? Who's that 215 upset?
Oh God.
Well, I think we got to choose between the top 4 here. Well, we guess we can go top 8. I just don't really see anybody under Purdue at number 4 losing like that, because all of those teams
That
have already
was-
had disappointing
That
losses.
was my pick. Was
I'm not saying
Purdue?
that.
They
I think
played.
it's
They
gonna be one of
played to
those
their
top 3.
competition. Purdue
Yeah.
can lose that 215 game, and it's not because I'm a Purdue hater. It's because they play to their competition. They're not someone who's like blown out the teams they should beat. They've lost to Rutgers, and
Yeah.
then they've come
Yeah.
out and they beat these like higher ranked teams. I'm blanking on an example, but
I'm literally looking at Purdue's schedule right now. They've not beat anyone this year. That's actually like really good. Illinois, they beat Illinois twice. They beat they beat number 5 Villanova at the beginning of the year.
that's
18
the one.
North
That's the one I was
Carolina.
thinking of. Like
But,
they
like,
had
these
they
big-
had those, and then they immediately lost to Rutgers. Like
Yeah, they lose to Michigan by nearly 30. Like it's just they barely beat Northwestern by 6.
I
Beat
could see
Maryland
them
by
doing.
1.
I could see them doing well in the Big Ten tourney, and then everyone would be like, "Oh, get on the Purdue train, boil her up," and then
Boiler up.
they tank out to some 13-3 seed or something.
So do we see? I don't think that. Nah, I'm not even gonna say Gonzaga. They'll at least. I just don't know. I don't see them getting upset until at least
Gonzaga has
16.
too much talent. For me to
Yeah,
be-
like they won't.
they're not that Virginia team that lost to UNBC. Like
And
that
I
Virginia
hate-
team was just like a good team, and then they lost, but they didn't have any studs. They didn't have the
They had that
Drew
one
Timme
dude.
or
That Hunter, DeAndre Hunter,
yeah, but he stayed that.
Kyle
year.
Guy, Kyle Guy in college, I should say.
Yeah.
Shout out Kyle Guy for saying those 3 free throws were the scariest moment of his life. Instead of being like, I was built for it. He was scared. And I respect him for saying it.
I mean,
Mm.
here's where I'm with on the Gonzaga train. Like you're really good with Nembhard,
Nemhard,
Holmgren,
yeah.
and Timmy playing. Those 3 guys, great. Now, what happens when you get a team like, and I hate saying this, Auburn, who you're going to see in the Final Four, who has 7'3" Walker Kessler
Yeah.
and Jabari Smith, who are just going to play pick and roll play all day on you. Like Drew Timmy's not going to get down in the paint and beat Walker Kessler. Holmgren's too tiny to play against.
That's
him. Like,
barbecue chicken. That's
I
chicken.
feel like
bro.
I feel like you're playing a game where now it's like literally how physical can you be? Because I
And
think
we
if a
saw
team
it.
comes in and just sets the tone on Gonzaga and is like, we're gonna shove you, push you, we're gonna get
We
nasty.
saw it
with
in
you,
the
we're gonna put our
championship last year.
big man on you. Like it's just, I see Gonzaga making a run, but to me the flop is honestly Arizona. I
You think
don't
so?
even know how they're at number 2 right now. They're just
Because they're 25-2.
Yeah.
they're just not like, I understand like we see all these teams that like win a lot of games, but they lost to Tennessee pretty single-handedly.
You said it was a
Half of their
they're a good team.
Half of their games have been postponed. Like their number 5 matchup against UCLA and USC have been postponed. Like they beat UCLA
Golly,
by
they
10.
They
They
got
beat USC.
railed. They got railed by UCLA before they came back and beat them though.
Exactly.
75-59.
But like their strength of schedule is just so poor, and I hate saying it, but the Pac-12 is just so bad at basketball. Other than USC, UCLA,
They're
and
bad at
Arizona,
football too.
it's just so bad. So I just don't see
your
them.
Pac-12 hate is
I'm a Pac,
ridiculous.
and it's wild because I love like the West region. I just think
I love it,
Pac-12,
but like
Pac-12
they
basketball
have,
and football is mediocre.
it's just like why are we like promoting these teams on like such a high level when I feel like you look at teams like Kentucky and Auburn who play grinders all year long and then get dumped down, but then they're gonna come out and destroy these
Yeah.
teams if they played head on head.
My theory, this is my theory. I have no evidence I don't have the data. I can't show you the data. California and all these schools out west are known for like giving athletes who are like not strong necessarily, but they're fast. Like they're good at that. And they get a couple like huge 5-star studs every year, but they don't have that middle ground. They don't have those grinders who will be your 6th man or 7th man, like to go to these schools on a scholarship.
Also, is there any like physical, like when you think of like physical teams that are gonna like go out there, out
No,
rebound you, out hustle?
that's
like
the
they don't have
SEC.
those. Yeah, that's the SEC.
You-
That's the same
they-
thing for
you don't
football
gr-
too.
You don't
Like,
grow up poor out in the West. Obviously, you
Yeah,
do. Don't.
you can, but I know what
don't-
you mean. I know what you mean.
You
like,
can.
You're more well off than being in a trailer park in Mississippi, where you know the only way you're getting money is if you make the
Yeah.
league. Like, I don't mean to be. I don't know what the word I'm looking for there is, but
Stereotypical. I mean, it's
Stereotypical.
true. We
Like-
see it. Like,
that's my theory on why those teams out west like are like that. Because the East Coast, you still have a lot of those like dudes who are willing to fight for it.
I think there's also more distractions in those other areas. Like especially like UCLA and like California, even Arizona. There's like a lot more to do out west. Like a lot more distraction that you can get into. When if I'm hooping in Tuscaloosa,
On Venice Beach, like
if I'm
it's way
hooping in
different.
Tuscaloosa, Alabama, what am I gonna do? Go to the football game. Like it's a lot more of like you are there to
go
play
cow
sports.
tipping.
Yeah. So
That's
I don't know,
my theory. I don't know how you feel about it, but I feel like that's why they have like those studs who are going to be studs no matter what they do, but they're missing that like in between where they can like grow a team that way.
if there's ever a
only-
grinder, go ahead, Alex. Go
The
ahead.
only West Coast team I like is UCLA because Johnny Juzang transferred from Kentucky, and that dude is cold.
Who's that
He is
one?
a
Who's that one guy?
sharpshooter.
Who's the Hispanic guy in UCLA? That dude's a bucket.
Oh, he's a bucket too.
He's a bucket. He's a bucket.
I'm thinking of it. He is a bucket. And he's got some big hair too. That's
Yeah.
the only reason I remember. Barely see. I feel like what's his name?
I already have their roster here. They're not giving me pictures.
Ah,
That's annoying.
Jamie Jaquez Jr.
Jamie Jacquez.
He's
Jacquez.
so good.
Oh, he's a
so
bucket.
good.
All right,
He is a
anything else
bucket.
on college basketball though before we move on?
No, it's about to ramp
Uh,
up.
Okay.
It's-
I cannot wait. I can't wait. It's gonna be. Ooh, I
March
can't wait for
Madness
March
is gonna be
Madness.
Hey,
crazy.
we're gonna have to get an SMC like bracket
We really
challenge
do.
done. Only
Yeah.
people who've been on the show.
Across the
We
board
sent a
bracket challenge.
Yes.
That'd be dope. All right. Well, going on to NBA. So the All-Star game is now the best part of All-Star weekend. I thought I'd never say that before, but that
It was kind of a
All-Star.
banger. It was kind of a banger. I'm not gonna lie.
It was, but the slam
Curry
dunk
dropped
contest
16 threes.
sucked. He missed the last 5 ones to get the record, and I was like, come on, you gotta hit those. But no, I mean, slam dunk contest was terrible. The new
3-point
set-
contest. Cat wins.
Okay, that was cool. This is what I think for the dunk contest. You can't just have 5 people. You got to get rid of the theatrics. And you get 1 try. You don't get these 7 tries to hit your dunk. Like if you miss your dunk, you're out, and it's just like a big tournament.
I hate to say this, but I feel like
You
we've
can't
just
fill it in. I
seen-
know.
We've just seen some of the best. Like, what else is there to do? Like, people only can be so athletic. What else do you do? Add a trampoline in there, make it like Sky Zone?
Here's the issue. The bigger issue. They know there's no reason to do it. Like we've won
Yeah.
LeBron in the dunk contest, but what does
Oh,
he get
God.
for doing it? Like obviously
Nothing.
now he wouldn't be in it. What do you get if you're like a 4-time All-Star and you're making these considerations for all NBA teams? What do you get for being in the dunk contest? Like that, you don't
They
gain
should get
anything.
money. I mean, they're all rich though, so money is not like.
And
not a
NBA
good-
players already hate All-Star Weekend. Like they're pretty vocal
Yeah.
about it. They hate the amount of media and like break they get where there's no break.
I say let's get the shortest players, and like I don't know how you would measure this, but maybe the most unathletic. Throw them in there for the 3-point contest. I don't know. Have people that do not.
Dwight
shoot.
Howard.
Yeah,
Shaq.
have people that can't even shoot. Skills challenge. Do coaches. I feel like you gotta mix it
the
up.
Nikola Jokic versus Isaiah Thomas dunk contest.
Like I'd be hyped for that.
What was the 5'6" K Felder, right? The 5'6" dude who almost made the league. Throw him in there. I don't know what he's up to. I wonder what he's up to.
This is the same thing we talked about with Pro Bowl. I mean, I feel like you gotta change it up from the normal thing that everybody watches. The idea is that you see the best on the best play against each other, which I feel like the NBA is actually like that is like with that new 25-point rule at the end, they've done that. But now we need to switch it up for the Saturday, have people out of position even though there's no position. But have people do things that you won't see them do in a normal game.
Get rid of the coaches too. Let the players do it.
Yeah,
like make
Blake
the
Griffin,
team
Duncan
captains.
Ortiz.
Make the team captains be coaches.
Yeah,
because
Jason
everyone's
basically
gonna play
was one.
anyway. So
I don't know what else supposed to do. But
I still always like the mic'd up moments that come out of it because the players just don't care.
Yeah, they really don't. Also, LeBron's undefeated in the All-Star game since if you're on Team LeBron, you're gonna win. I think he's 3-0 now. Yeah, late GM. Speaking of late GM, Clutch Sports versus Lakers. There's something brewing between there. I don't know if you guys been seeing that, but Clutch Sports is not happy with Rob Pelinka and Lakers front office.
You're phrasing this wrong.
Am I?
LeBron is upset, and therefore Clutch is upset.
Well, when I say Clutch Sports, I feel like it's the LeBron talent agency. I thought we all knew that already.
And I like LeBron, but this man has already separated himself from what's happening. He's already like throwing out, "Hey, draft my son."
I genuinely don't know how. Like I messaged Chase. And I was
I'm not done in Cleveland.
I was like, can he do that? I guess he can do that. But
Bro, why? If you're the saddest organization, like, why wouldn't you just want to be the saddest organization for the next 4 years and just have the first round pick each year? So I can.
Bronny ain't gonna be a top 5.
I'm about to say Bronny's
take
not
him at
gonna
13. Get LeBron on that.
Bro, I would
minimum.
take him at 1 just at the fact that I'm getting LeBron James.
You're getting a 41-year-old LeBron James,
and that's still gonna get you tickets. That's still gonna get you tickets.
Dude, that's gonna sell out every game. And even if we suck and we lose every game, guess what? We get the first round pick next year. It's fantastic.
True.
Yeah, but you also
LeBron's
gonna have
all his buddies
the worst
over.
first round pick since Anthony Bennett if you take Bronny with it.
Okay. We don't know that. Yeah, we don't know if he's that bad.
Hey, I already told you I'm higher on Bronny than you are.
Yeah, I just feel like everybody's like we've been saying
Dwayne Wade's kid can get to the G League. Bronny can make.
That's exactly what I said. I was like, there's no way Zaire Wade's in the G League right now. Like, that's only because of his dad. Only because of his dad. I think Bronny's better than Zaire. I just think that at this point we usually know, like, okay, this kid.
He's a junior.
He's a junior, but
he's
usually
40.
We're starting to see. Okay, he's gonna have to be a knockdown shooter if he doesn't grow more. I think he's only like 6'3", 6'4".
The hardest part is you can't. It's so hard to find high school stats and definitely look at their
Well,
meaning of
you
them.
can't look. I mean, you could average 40.
No,
in high
you can't.
school,
You can't find Bronny's high school stats.
I think high school stats are meaningless. I don't think you should really.
No, but you can't see them at all because you can at least use their shooting percentages. Like that still matters. I'm not saying point. I don't care about your points per game.
And I understand like the whole conversation of like where like schools are going to want to recruit him because like wherever he goes, his dad is going to be in that place every night. He's going out west. There is no way in the world he does not go out west.
You think he doesn't go to a blue blood?
UCLA or he's going to go out to UCLA or USC. There's no way around it.
I mean, he already has an offer from Kansas. That happened like last year.
Not going to play Kansas. He's not going to be good enough.
Yeah, he's not going to go to Lawrence, Kansas.
Yeah, he's not gonna go there. He's gonna go out west to be with his dad.
I
so
was
his
thinking he might
dad
go to
can
Duke.
every single game.
Mm-mm. You don't think so?
That
He could go to
program is
Ohio
falling
State.
apart.
He could.
Just because of the LeBron connection with Ohio State.
I just think it's so hard for me to. I mean, he's playing well. Like, I'm not saying like he's a bad player. And when I say like I don't
He'd
think
cook
Bronny's
me
gonna
with
be
one hand.
No, easily. But I'm saying like I'm not like when I say Bronny, I'm not super high on Bronny for NBA. Like, he's still a really good player. There's very few players that can be that good. I just don't know if he's one of them. I don't know if he's gonna be one of them.
We've had this conversation a few times. I think he is a like low rotation dude in the NBA right now. Like if he was to hit, obviously he could
that's his peak, you think?
But I say his peak off what we know right now, because you have to be like that top 15 dude to be a like NBA player, and he's 40.
Well, we think also.
40th.
Well, also, I mean, can we like let's be honest? If that wasn't LeBron's kid, is he ranked that high? Does he have that much? You're a
starter at Sierra Canyon as a freshman.
I don't know if he's. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if he would be a starter at Sierra Canyon. Like, there's a lot of kids out there that have a lot of talent that don't get any publicity. Like, this kid has been under the microscope. That's why he might
drop farther than he should at times too.
That is all
like,
true. It's a double-edged sword. It's a double-edged sword.
So no, we don't know anything.
No
NBA scout knows anything about him right now either.
At all. The next 2 years are gonna be really, really interesting though. Actually 3 years when he gets to the league, that's gonna be. I wonder if the NBA will even allow that. That's kind of crazy. But yeah. Anyway, clutch parentheses late GM mad at Lakers. They really wanted to move Russ for John Wall. Like who cares? I'm sorry, but who cares? John Wall is not
John Wall over him.
He's not playing.
All day.
Is he healthy?
Yeah, he's healthy.
He's just not playing?
He has an agreement with the Rockets that he just wasn't going to play.
And he's still getting paid?
Yeah.
Big brain. Big brain. Can't blame him. Can't blame Bo.
He travels with the team. Like he's next to their bench.
He just doesn't play?
He just doesn't play. But the reason I think it was a decent trade, you can limit what John Wall will do and like the dumb things that he does more than you can Westbrook.
Yeah.
When's the last time we've seen John Wall play?
Last year, and he still averaged 20.
He played last year?
Yes.
Dang.
Yes, he did.
How many games? A lot?
Not like the whole season. I don't think it was anything crazy.
I think he went like 40 maybe. I think he played 40 or so. Somewhere in that ballpark.
So.
I mean, with Lakers just
yeah, he played 40. He played 40 and averaged 20.6.
Dang.
And 45 effective field goal percentage, which isn't great, but it's not bad. And he still shot 6 threes a game at 31%. That's way better than Westbrook.
That is
and
true.
I know I've come off as a Westbrook hater, but still.
He's having a bad year.
He's a bad player now. For his contract, he's a horrid player.
There we go. Yeah. But, I mean, I don't know what to do. Lakers are going to be Lakers. They'll get in the play-in, probably lose. Bad year overall happens.
Then Braun heads out to Cleveland.
Anthony Day-to-Day
Anthony Day-to-Day Davis. His tummy hurt. He's out.
Let's talk about the top 75. As Chase has in his background there. There's a lot of controversy about this.
Do we just hit the big one off top? The top rope? I'm trying to find his name here.
He's up top. I'm pretty sure we're talking about the one up top.
He is right here.
Third row top. Yep.
This man. I will ask you, Alex, the same thing that I asked Kai. Does this 4-time All-Star, 1-time All-NBA, whatever it was.
Rookie of the year.
But all-career grinder. Should he be in here over Tony Parker?
I'm already seeing 2 glaring discrepancies that I would just love to get rid of at the moment, and it's currently Russell Westbrook and Damian Lillard because they are just
Hold on. You can go. Sorry.
I think Westbrook should be in top 75.
They're good. Don't get me wrong, but they are not great. If I look at the NBA all time, and you're like, all right,
okay, hold on. We need to cut. We need to cut some else out here.
No,
we need to cut some out. Is Dwight Howard, should he be on this list?
Yes, easily. No brainer.
Easily.
You think so?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm willing to hear your Westbrook point now. Because I think Dwight Howard should have been on this.
My Westbrook point is he was really good at the Thunder. Really good. Like I would give him
Which
props
should
to the
still go
Thunder.
in because it's 75. It's top 75.
Yeah, but look at who was playing around him at the Thunder
Nobody.
and how they elevated that team.
Whoa.
KD.
No, he played even better. He played even better after KD left. Westbrook led a team of scrubs to like what, a 4th seed or a 5th seed?
Yeah,
they
when
lost
you
in
get
the
the
first
ball
round.
game and you don't have to pass to anyone else, you can win games. When
Okay,
you
so
can
what's
be
Dame's
this
problem?
focal point.
What's Dame's problem?
What's Dame's problem?
Yeah.
Dame is not winning enough. Like Dame, does
Dame
Dame go
doesn't
out
have
there?
an MVP.
Does Dame go out there and do what realistically you're saying Russell Westbrook does, which is carry his team to get in the playoffs and win playoff games? No. Like I look at all the point guards that are on here, and they literally are just better, like in every aspect of basketball. Just
Paul,
better.
I see Jerry West right away. Isaiah Thomas, not the fake one who played in Boston.
Stockton, I mean,
the fake one.
Stockton, Maravich, Pistol Pete. I mean, they're just better. Kobe, I mean, they're just better. Steph Curry.
Dame is crazy overrated. Like I never realized it until all of this. But
dude is a shooter. Like
dude is crazy overrated.
He is all-time Mount Rushmore shooter.
He's good, but I do not think with his accolades
now
that he comprises this list in the proper way.
To my other question, do you both have Tony Parker in over Damian Lillard?
Yes. Tony Parker was so easily. Key.
They must have just been looking at stats for some of these because what Tony did was insane. Even if you do look at his stats, you should still be impressed.
His stats are so good. He played for
in my opinion, I think there was a recency bias, and that's where I feel like I understand. Like we look at the NBA now, and they're like, "Oh, it's such a transitional league. Like it's so great now. Everyone's so good. Everyone's great."
Unless you're from the 80s, you think it's the worst basketball's ever looked.
But I feel like whoever made this list, I feel like the room was like split 60-40. Like it was young guys and old guys. And those 40% of old guys probably said,
so
Dame's not making the list. And those young guys were like, well, Dame's
like,
blah,
what
blah,
has he
blah,
done?
Shoots the 3, blah, blah, blah. And
I feel like there's a limit here because they've done this for like, I think it was their 25 and 50. You have to keep that original 50 the same, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think it's necessarily the perfect thing to do, but it keeps at least because you're doing it off like the top 75 players of all time, but you can't do it because the era changes. So if you just keep that top 50 the same and like you put like our new top, like the new 25 into here, like you add 25 more players. And it would get weird still, but I feel like I don't know if that's what they did or not.
I don't think so. I feel
like there was no comparison. Like they didn't put up a big chart of like, okay, this is how many points were scored in a game in this decade, this decade, this decade, this decade, this decade. Because then when you look at stats are clearly inflated now to like a whole new level to the point where some of these guys just look better, but maybe they didn't provide the same role or they didn't play the same on the floor as some of these guys from the past. I mean, looking on here, I mean, there's one guy who averages 12 points a game, but
Purvis Short didn't make this list, so it's already invalid.
Hall of Famer Purvis Short.
John Stockton averaged 13 points a game, but literally,
all right, he's the the assistant
leading the career in total assists and steals. Like, there's a reason for it. Like, these guys were grinders.
If you want to look up into some conspiracy theory stuff, look at the discrepancy between away and a home assist for John Stockton. It's like a 4 assist difference in some seasons.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
Like,
I've seen that.
If he touched the ball, he got an assist. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But I think what's important with this is like you still need to have, like, if I look off this list here, Willis Reed, if he played 1-on-1 against Dwight Howard, would probably get eaten alive. So you need to have those dudes from the 50s and 60s still be represented well.
But my point here is if this is a top 75, so what do they call it? Is this the 75th anniversary team or is this like the top 75 players of all time?
It's meant to kind of be both.
Because in my opinion, if it's the top 75 players of all time, there is no disrespect if you get rid of some of those guys from the 50s and 60s. Not
They
saying they
laid
should,
the groundwork, is my point.
But I'm saying, right, as the league evolves, players should be better than players in the 50s and 60s.
They
Players
should be better.
get off that list.
But you need to give them the respect still of being able to set
Yeah,
like
the
the
respect
first
that they
sharpshooter should still be on this list because he paved the way for
Yeah.
someone like a Steph Curry to even be on this list. Is
And
my point.
it's a hard line because then you're like, all right, well, you want to respect people, and obviously people that influence the game, that is huge. You need them on that list. But again, you need to know this: if these are the top 75 players of all time, like, I'm not saying it's an easy thing to do, but when they do this list again in 25 years, and for the
Most likely.
for the 100th anniversary, some of those names should not be on there. Some of them should be changed. Like, that's just
Alright,
how it is.
Here's my question about the Dame. So Reggie Miller is on here.
Yeah.
Reggie Miller,
Retired
18.
top career 3-point. So
Yes.
5-time All-Star, 3-time All-NBA. That's literally it for his accolades.
But here's what.
so would you
kept a
would you
team in a
put
city too.
would you put Dame Lillard and like if we're looking at the numbers, Dame Lillard and
Reggie Miller.
Reggie Miller.
Yeah.
Who would you take if you're GM right now? Like in their prime, which one do I want? Because that's where I feel like the question.
Reggie.
I
think Reggie's a better leader. I think he's a better winner.
I don't even think you go off that. That dude like was playing. If he's playing now, that dude is like an MVP caliber guy.
Yeah.
Like he was running screens nonstop in the 80s and 90s when that wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
So
here's what.
That's just where I'm at. Like
I
there's
feel
we all
players
agree.
on here
I think we agree.
who were at the hustle level of Dame, who did better things, and
9-time
clearly
grind star.
Here's what I'm gonna say. If I was making this list, here would be my criteria. Right? Do they have a record? Right? Do they have they set a record in something? Are they like top 5 in something? What have they done? Have they influenced the game anyway? Were they the first of their kind to do something? Were they a pioneer? Right? Did they just do something completely unheard of for the time that made the league adapt? Or awards. Did they win a crazy amount of MVPs, crazy amount of all NBAs? Like, that's my criteria for it. Obviously, stats in there too, but as the league changes, like we mentioned, stats kind of get inflated. They change just depending on rules and how the league has changed. But that's what my criteria for it is. And right now, Dame hasn't done any of the 3 for me. He's not a pioneer of what he's done. Right? Yes, he's a sharpshooter, but I feel like he hasn't changed the game. He hasn't been the first of something.
Murray changed the game before him.
Exactly. He's not he's not a pioneer. You know, he doesn't have a lot of awards, if any. You know, a couple all NBAs and the Rookie of the Year and a couple All Stars. Like, he hasn't done any of those 3 to me. When you look at every other person on that list, they've at least done one of the 3.
I think that's, I don't know. I just feel like, when people look at this list, they're like, everyone from every different generation is going to have their own opinion, no matter what way you cut it.
That is true.
And no matter how you break it up. And it's good they didn't put numbers next to these people because that really would have got people heated.
God, if they would have ranked
they
these
would have
people,
never.
Yeah.
They would have never.
Yeah,
No league will do that. No league will ever do that.
Fried. They would have been fried.
The only league that can do
oblivion.
it is the NHL because everyone is just like, yeah, it's Gretzky. And like, there's no argument. That's the only people who will ever rank something because they know they can do it. Like baseball heads,
Gretzky has like 100 or 200 more points than like
Gretzky's ridiculous.
Yeah, he's insane. Anyway, keep moving though. Last note: Kyrie Irving is going to be coming back full time.
No comment.
New York is changing their state protocols for COVID. Yeah, mandate. So Kyrie will be back full time. Hopefully that will help the Nets. Anything else
Harden's
for NBA before we move on? Oh, and Harden's playing tonight. He is playing. He's making his debut for Philly
against the Timberwolves.
I'm pretty excited. Actually, I'll watch that game.
I mean, I'll probably watch it. I'll probably flip it on and see how well he plays. He'll probably destroy them from the floor. He'll probably get the ball, shoot the 3 every play.
He already taught Embiid his step back. I don't know if anyone saw that video, but Embiid with that travel step back is going to be scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But moving on, MLB February 28th is the new deadline for players union and the league to
Monday.
agree. Yeah.
Monday,
So if
yeah.
they don't agree, the season will be delayed more. But yeah,
No, I'm pretty sure that's the deadline for the season will not be delayed if we get an
Yeah, I
agreement
think
by
that's the
this date.
cutoff for.
So if
Oh,
it
is
goes
it?
if it
Okay.
goes past the 28th, there will be delays to the season.
Oh, okay. I was including spring training in there too, I guess, because there's supposed to be some games next week,
They're
I
already
believe.
supposed to be reported and everything, but
But yeah,
I think we will be seeing regular season shaved down. I don't think the players are budging.
182 is ridiculous.
No, I'm not saying from their CBA. I don't know what they'll do with that. I'm saying for this year, they might lose the whole season.
You think
because
so?
nobody's budging. All reports lead to both sides are playing game of chicken.
and
with
if
no
the
one moving.
arbitrator comes in, it's not going to be conducive to what the players want. It's just going to go in the way of the GMs. I mean,
so what's the players' main demands? They want a salary cap and then they want a shortened season.
I don't know what the players want. The biggest one is that
or the
salary
GMs.
cap.
The GMs want a salary cap. Players
cap.
don't want the salary cap.
Yes.
And yeah.
And I would love to make unlimited amounts of money.
Not Acuna. What's his name from the Nationals? Juan Soto. He turned down like a 13-year, $330 million extension because he.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Because I don't know if he knew. I don't know.
I think baseball players want to adjust their contracts to more reflect like NBA and NFL. Besides quarterback
paid
ones.
over 13 years.
No, not even money. Just like like they don't want 13-year contracts. I feel like 5 to 6 should be like a cap. I feel
5
like
should be your max in any sport.
Like 13 years. Like I'm committing to this team is ridiculous.
I think they want the fluidity of the other leagues where like these guys move a lot more. They play on different teams.
True.
I think that's what really they want. And I think MLB really wants to stick with that rigid structure of this is the one team you're playing for your whole career. You're going to be great. You're going to be a legendary team.
I'm about to say we can go on a whole rant about how old school
they're
MLB
way
is, how
behind.
They're not adjusting. Yes,
they're way behind social media too. They are just not there.
The way that Mike Trout isn't plastered on every single MLB ad and like
that's
graphic and everything is
he's
crazy.
Not. He doesn't want that. Like that's
he's
also
the best player in the league. He's the best player in the league.
Yeah, but you can market Shohei Ohtani way better than you could Mike Trout because Mike Trout doesn't want the attention and Shohei seems okay with it. Like that's my point.
Shohei, I mean, if I'm that nobody right now, why am I not blowing Shohei up? That man is foreign. First of all,
generational talent.
Generational. Like I mean, I would.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think we're gonna see a lockout.
Yeah, probably. Also, probably change the service time.
But
probably change the service time is another one of those.
They
where
probably want to get rid of manipulation. Yeah,
because that's pretty ridiculous that they can manipulate. You could play, and then if they put you down for a couple of days, that could depend what type of contract extension you get. That's pretty crazy. But also, real quick before I moved on, so I can explain my background. De'Aaron Fox scam people. Scam. We don't know yet, but he had an NFT. It made 1.5 mil. He recently came out and said that he has to focus on basketball and they shut the website down. And now he's offering some reimbursement for people that have bought more than 5 NFTs. Now all of Twitter is saying De'Aaron Fox just signed a 160 something mil extension and just scam people for $1.5 million. Thought that was interesting. But anyway, yeah, moving on. Anything else for baseball?
No,
I'm
good.
Nothing to report.
Yeah.
Nothing.
All right. Moving on to some Champions League.
I
want 2 weeks to cover.
I want to start by letting Kai have the floor because you watched the entire Atletico Madrid versus Man United game.
Oh my God.
I could break this down. Honestly, one of the most entertaining, I haven't seen a lot of soccer, but one of the most entertaining games I've seen, probably the fastest soccer game that it went by the fastest I've ever watched the game. It was super entertaining.
Probably all the bookings.
Yeah. Atletico scored in like the first 7 minutes and they were dominating. They had one go off the crossbar because like this guy headed it off this other guy's head and it just bounced, hit off the crossbar, didn't go in. And I was like, man, Atletico's dominating. It was 1-0 forever. And then super sub, what's that guy's name? Anthony Elanga.
There you go. Look at you.
Elanga subs in. He gets a through ball from Bruno Fernandes and does a nice little step through. and he didn't really hit it that well. I didn't think it was going out. That was going to be wide, but it kind of just
He hit that
rolled
It was
really
in.
well.
complete.
That was all placement.
It was complete angling at that point.
Yeah.
Like the keeper, Jan Oblak clearly gives up his weak post, and I mean, you just as a teenager, you learn to tuck that bad boy home.
Yeah.
You're not
That's a hard
finishing
shot,
for
though.
power.
Yeah.
That's a hard shot.
Man, you tied
Tough.
it up and it ended 1-1. Atletico probably should have won 3-1, and Diego Simeone looked very angry.
That man
He always
is
looks angry.
Yeah.
If
Also,
he doesn't look angry, it's like a unicorn.
I also didn't realize that they got rid of the away goal rule.
They did. That happened this
Uh-huh.
year.
Yeah,
Just brand new this year.
so that's pretty awesome.
Great,
Goodness.
in my opinion.
Great.
Great
It
I
is
think-
fantastic. It's so stupid. It was so stupid.
As
that
for
was
the
honestly
other,
a really good game.
as for the other games, I will go through the ones that were kind of boring. Man City
Destroyed Sporting.
smacked Sporting.
We all saw that one coming.
Wow, I thought they'd put up some fight. No.
No.
Man City, they looked clinical. And if they bring that, which shout out Tottenham, they didn't bring that to Tottenham.
Yeah, good job,
if
Chase.
they-
Thank you. I
Bogey team. Oh yeah, we really helped Liverpool. You're welcome. And then lost to Burnley, but that's another story. But yeah, Man City smacked them. Honestly, in my opinion, the Liverpool Inter game, which I know you watched, so you can say a little more. Inter kind of just looked disconnected, and Liverpool
it just
really
like,
just dominated it. In my
there's just
opinion.
not in my opinion, Inter Milan have a very they think of football in tunnel vision. Like we're gonna play this one way, and this is the only way we're gonna play. And
They kept
Inzaghi,
Conte's style.
Unfortunately, Inzaghi did not realize the fact that you're gonna have Mohamed Salah, who's gonna make the rest of your team look like idiots if you decide to step too early. Against Bastoni, not like a 19-year-old who's barely played any football.
He's going to be really good.
He's
Like,
really
let's
good.
Say that.
But why would you pair him against Salah when you have De Vrij and Skriniar, who could really do a lot more?
They also
man
play
marking
three at the
and-
back. So
Yeah, but it was just once again Liverpool dominates on possession, so just kind of how it goes. And then Firmino comes off the bench.
Yeah, that was a nice goal he scored. But
Yeah,
the other one that,
Also,
in my opinion, was very boring that we taught that was 2 weeks ago. PSG steal it late against Madrid, but
Yeah.
they should have had that game clinched way sooner. Madrid had no shots on target, I believe.
Wow.
yeah, but Madrid's is played that hunkered down style of football all season, like
With
all
Ancelotti,
season.
yeah.
Just
They couldn't. They
All right.
could not link anything together in the final third.
well,
Like if they got it there was nothing that was threatening.
and I feel like the thing is the fact that Casemiro had to play so deep and just so in between the lines to just like halt the fact that Messi, Mbappe, and Di Maria were just down their throat, and Verratti was just carrying the ball from everywhere in that game, and it was so
He
annoying.
Dominated that midfield.
And Mendes and Hakimi were literally upfield the whole game. Like they were playing two center backs, and Paredes would sit in front of them and just clean up. So I mean, you really, for me, it was the fact that Real Madrid just had to hunker in, and now they have to go to the Bernabeu, which is hard enough, and play a team that is going to be hindered because of yellow cards right now. It looks like because I think Casemiro, Mendy, and Militao are all on suspension for accumulation.
That tie can still go either way though. But that
Yeah.
I honestly I disagreed with your thought on the Mbappe goal because we talked about it in the chat. They went together at the right time. He just had that ball on a string and timed that dribble past him perfectly. They went for an
Also,
aggressive one because he got like on the edge of the box. I don't even know if panic's the right word, but they were shadowing him out, like trying to push him to that corner that whole game. And then someone tries to step in. So Vasquez scoops in, and it was just a great shot by Mbappe.
But I mean, it's just like, no offense, you're Real Madrid. Like, come on, like you gotta be conducive. Like, you can't like go that long of playing. We're not gonna give up a goal. We're not gonna give up a goal. We're not gonna give up a goal. We're gonna throw ourselves at the ball every time they come at us, and then you do that and you give up a goal. So I mean, it's just, to me, Lucas Vasquez it's his second year of playing right back, like full time. So I mean, it's just frustrating that Carvajal, who's been so good, just
Isn't out
gave
there.
up
It's
that
fair.
game and just got murdered on every play that came down his way.
On from that, Salzburg Bayern. Salzburg nearly
Yeah.
steal the first leg from Bayern. Bayern
what
looked to be
happened?
stumbling. So they struggled. They struggled in their weekend fixture before Salzburg. Actually lost to like one of the bottom ranked teams in Bundesliga. And then came out against Salzburg and struggled again. Bochum, that's who they lost to. They lost 4-2 to a team called Bochum. Draw against Salzburg after clawing it back, and then looked to be okay. They destroyed Fürth 4-1 back in the Bundesliga. But before they play Salzburg in the second league, they will have two similar teams, I'd say, and like skill to Salzburg. They play Eintracht Frankfurt and Bayer Leverkusen. I'd say they're about Salzburg's like skill level, so they will have two comparable games to like be ready for it. In my opinion, I think they'll be fine.
I don't know.
It was a fluke.
I'm on the edge of the fact that I really like how Salzburg play, that aggressive, fast-paced.
Oh, they didn't back down.
We just go. And if it's not there, recycle, get the ball in the box, and their strikers are so good, and Adiemi and Adamu, who are they're just grinders. They're young and they're fast. And I think Bayern just got caught like napping in that game. I think they were like, they walked out the tunnel and were like, we're about to destroy this team. Like we're gonna go full Barcelona on them. And they smacked them in the mouth and said, sorry, we're gonna make you work for this one a little harder. And they just play like Salzburg is just so good at doing what they do best. Like they usually
see upsets in Champions League.
Yeah,
a lot.
Yeah,
quite a bit. It's not. I mean,
it's
hardest
harder
thing,
because it's two legs. But
yeah. The hardest thing is these teams just have such a depth. Like if I'm Julian Nagelsmann, I can bring off the bench guys that are just better than the starters on Salzburg.
You are bringing off your bench someone who makes more in a year than possibly the starters of Salzburg.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like that alone tells you their difference because of just the talent that is there. Because Bayern is so dominant.
In soccer, you just gotta grind as a team. Like if you play good defense, you just grind, you win the ball back, you get quick on transition, you can beat any team. But you have to play with that like uniform, disciplined style, and you can't make stupid mistakes. Can't shoot yourself in the foot. That's really where it all comes down to.
What's another one? Lille. Chelsea beat Lille 2-0.
Christian Pulisic hit the worst gritty ever.
I saw that.
The worst gritty. That was
somebody said they added some sass to it because it was like he's like I don't know.
It was funny. So weird. I was confused.
Everybody's
honestly, that was the highlight of that game because it was so boring. Chelsea are very good at continental play. They understand that it's a slower paced game overall. And if you can grind that to your tempo, especially against a team like Lille, who's struggling anyway this year in like their league,
you just slow down the game and just make it boring. I mean, you're just going to keep pounding them until you get a goal. I mean, Kai Havertz got one in the 8th minute. So, I mean, Lille probably were like, oh, well, that's already down. They're like, we're already down. So then they try to throw everything at the board. And yeah, you can't do that against Chelsea.
They're too compact. And with N'Golo Kante in that midfield who bossed them, he bosses every midfield.
Could we potentially see a back-to-back by Chelsea here this year?
They're very hard. I don't think so, though.
I really just don't see it. Like to me, they don't possess the team to beat these like key teams right now. There's just some teams that are just on hot streaks of form that I'm just like, there's no way in the world that you're gonna be able to beat them on any given night because they're that good and they have that many players that they can play in so many different styles and break you down. Like there's just teams that are gonna break down Chelsea because they get to see them all year and they get to see teams that they play all year.
Mm.
Like Liverpool and City will eventually break down Chelsea in 2 legs.
I would take my money as Man City over them personally, just because of the way they match up against them.
Yeah.
But I could see Liverpool beating them too, but I would take my money on like if with who's left, if Man City looked like they did against Sporting, because that was beautiful to watch. It really was. I hate Man City for what they are, but watching them play is so much fun. I can't really give a prediction, but it's close because it's so close. But Juventus rue all the chances they miss against Villarreal.
Oh my God, Dusan Vlahovic. Holy, that kid is. I mean, if I had to go out and spend $84 million as a
you're not picking up a better striker in January.
Director, you have literally got a gold. You're sitting on a gold mine of talent right now. This guy has just come on and he's like, all right, everyone said I wasn't gonna be able to do it, so screw you guys. I'm about ready to just go bang every game that I come into and score. He scored in 6 of his 7 appearances already.
My favorite thing with him is that he's able to find the space in between the lines and let other people run through them. And he might not always find the pass, but he's always he's looked like he will be able to. Outside of that normal poacher role where he's just kind of banging home goals and that's all he does, he has a chance to do what Harry Kane has done with Tottenham and find those runners on the wings and then make that late run into the box where he's scoring it. And because he's shown that he can do it.
They're just so creative with the Alvaro Morata, Locatelli, McKennie. Well, now McKennie's out, but Cuadrado. You have a complete depth of creativity that you can play so many different styles with so many different pieces that it's almost kind of hard for teams to match you up because you can give them so many different looks. So they'll have to feel you out in game. And when you have to feel someone out in game, it is not fun because most of the time you make a stupid mistake and someone scores a goal on you real quick.
And
I don't see Villarreal making out of that tie, to be honest. They don't possess.
They hit the post a few times and they looked threatening, but Juventus really should have beat them.
Yeah, Juventus really just is gonna boss them into just a spot where they're oh well, we're done in the second leg. I think you see that first goal go in and Villarreal's well, it's been good knowing y'all. We'll head back down to the Europa League.
And then the very last one, it was a banger game. Benfica Ajax. These two are very even skilled and they throw themselves at each other. And it was fun, which is what I said it would be. I still don't know who's going to win it. I would take my money on Ajax just because Ajax is so good. It was fun.
Is just ridiculous. Oh my gosh, he's so good.
The fact that he didn't work in the Prem was kind of crazy. And honestly, Benfica came out in that second half just ready. They gave
Ramchuk played fantastic in every way.
Yeah, and Haller scored the own goal, which was kind of unlucky. And then 3 minutes later, 3-4 minutes later, scored the not the equalizer, the go-ahead goal.
Yeah, he scored the brace.
Yeah, and then they for both teams. But yeah, I think Ajax will be able to go through with it because Ajax looked like they started slow, and by the time they were finally able to kind of get back into that second half, it was just too late, and Benfica equalized it already. That's kind of how I saw it. So
I think the thing with Ajax is there's every other team, they can click into different gears occasionally, and I feel it's just hard sometimes to match up, especially because the Benfica just does not possess the defense to be able to just punch you in the mouth and throw those counter punches of, oh, you got a really fast guy? Well, I got a really fast center back. Instead, they're you got a really fast guy? I got two 35-year-olds who
Will knock
really
you
don't
to the
move all too
ground.
much.
Yeah, they don't let you run past them because they do the Chiellini. All right, if you can run past me, you just won't run. I'll
Yeah.
break your
Here, let
leg
me just
before you
like
can.
NFL hook you and tackle you to the ground every time you try and run past me. Silly. But
I
yeah,
think that's all
there's
the games though.
Yeah.
But second round doesn't come on till
March 8th, I believe.
Yes.
March 8th.
First, second week of March.
Yeah. Which is
Those
only in like a
two games
week.
on March 8th
2
are going to be
weeks.
bangers.
And then it goes to the every week format where it starts rolling a little bit faster.
Okay, cool. I was wondering like when are we gonna, every week type. But yeah,
It
so we do
doesn't end till the end of May. So
that's crazy. Okay, we do have to keep going though. We're about
we're done here.
hour and a half.
That was almost the last thing. The only other thing for soccer was the USA equal pay settlement happened and they got 22 million for it. And what was it, like 2 million to their future something or other?
Yeah, the future pod or something.
Yeah, it was very vaguely worded, but
Yeah. And here's where everyone I understand we've seen the discrepancy in pay, but unfortunately at the international level, you're just not going to get paid as much as you think you're going to get. Like these payments are just they're small payments because these people are literally the whole point of the international is just for you to come out, play for your country. If you win something, we'll give you some money, blah, blah, blah. I think the women are at the point where they've won a lot. And I think maybe, hate saying it, it's like sharks when there's blood in the water. They're like, we're really winning. So you guys got the money. So fork up over here.
they were having a very big discrepancy for what the men made the knockouts in 2014 and they were treated as like national heroes, and the women have won like three or four World Cups, and they're just like seen as, yeah, you should do that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
they
well, the men's team's really not that good. So there's a whole point for that. But
yes, that's fair. But also the fact that they nearly beat Belgium was ridiculous by itself. But that was in 2014. So I need to move on.
Moving on, hot takes for the week, boys. What do we have going in here? Yeah.
Oh, I don't even know who's playing.
I'm thinking it's gonna have to be college basketball or NBA. NBA hot takes are so hard in the regular season. There's just nothing like.
You've run out of sports. We've hit that edge.
We've hit the wall until March Madness.
I'm about to say then it's like March Madness, NBA playoffs, Champions League is still heating up. Like it's just a down period right now. NFL draft.
You can't go from Super Bowl straight into Big Ten. Like you need to give the general public a couple weeks.
I want it
I think
all.
I got a heater, guys. I'm sitting on a heater right now, I think.
All right, what is it?
I'm rocking with my boys at the University of Tennessee again. I think they're gonna catch Auburn asleep again this week.
Ooh.
I
like it.
I think they're gonna come out and bite someone in the butt, maybe. Might be possible. So I got Tennessee scraping like a 5 or a 10-point win out. That's where I'm at.
I did have one.
It's in Knoxville too, which is a tough environment to play in.
Also, Kai, you're gonna have to write these into the document because I cannot. So I need you to record these for me.
Hold on. I opened it through the group me link and it was acting weird. So let me go through my actual drive and do it.
As long as you get them down. I do have mine. It is to do with the Premier League, actually.
Ooh.
We will see a team in Merseyside enter the relegation zone. Frank Lampard's boys over at Everton play Man City this week. They will lose. But for this to happen, Newcastle is going to beat Brentford to put them over Everton in points. And Burnley, scrappy old Burnley, they play Leicester City. And they will beat them on
they play
Tuesday.
Crystal Palace play Burnley.
Yes,
Saturday.
On the weekend. And then Burnley play Leicester on Tuesday. So they only need to win one of those to overtake Everton, because I think Everton lose to Man City, which would then put Burnley over top of Everton, and Everton would fall to 18th, which is the relegation zone.
Everton's not looking too hot.
They look good in their last game, but
Yeah, but against Man City, who have beat you 3-0, 5-0, 2-0, 3-1, 2-1 in the past 5 meetings.
hey, I'm cheering for Man City against them here because I think Everton, that team that you just not think would get relegated, I think they drop into the relegation zone.
Then I feel like they're just gonna scrap at the end of the year, and they're
Oh
just
no,
gonna
I don't think they
somehow-
get relegated, but I think they go into the relegation zone. Because I think Newcastle stays up. I think Burnley's hitting some form here. They're hitting Burnley form. I'm not saying
Sean
they're
Dyche
just world
football.
beaters.
Sean Dyche
Yes,
football.
we will take 2 shots and score one of them, and we will not let you score. Which
50%
it works.
conversion rate.
It works. Somehow it has worked for the past 3 years, and it'll work again. But
Name broke. Don't fix it.
that's my hot take.
I got maybe a spicy one. We'll see, but I'm gonna rock with the Boeheim boys. We're gonna go with Syracuse upsetting number 7 Duke right before the ACC tournament. It's not right before
The zone.
Yeah, going into the ACC tournament, Duke, before they lock in, they've got to have one more loss in there. I think it's gonna
Duke
be
almost took a
from
fat L
Orange.
to what game was that? Wake Forest. Well,
Yeah.
they should have lost to Wake Forest. That was
Yeah, so I also like Syracuse.
Their players
3-point
weren't
shooters.
drinking so much.
Yeah, 3-point shooters. When your 3-point shooters are hot, you can upset anybody. So I got the Orange beating Duke tomorrow. Yeah, is that the show, boys?
That is the
I
show.
think it is.
That's the show. Let me write down my hot take before Syracuse beats Duke. All right, well, everyone, thanks for tuning in. It was a great show. A little over, but we had 2 weeks to cover. Looking forward to next week. We have some interesting topics to cover, but boys, stay safe out there and see you next week.